Hi, I'm Jeff Cohn, and thank you very much for being with us today on the Mayor's Corner. I am delighted to be here with Mayor Roudez of the Village of University Park. And we have a very special guest with us today, Bonita Parker from ComEd. Bonita, thank you very much for being with us today.
Jeff, it is my absolute pleasure to be with you all and the wonderful customers that we have in the Village of University Park.
And Mayor, it is so good to be with you after our little summer break that we had. Thank you very much for the break that you've given us. But now it's time to get back to work. How have you been, Mayor?
Oh, it's been a busy summer. It's never a day's worth of rest, but it's good to be back as well. Looking for a lot of exciting new things coming up in fall of 2021, going into the new year. A lot of exciting guest information for our residents in the region. So I'm ready to rock and roll, a little energized. I'm glad to see Mrs. Parker here from ComEd. What a valuable asset that we have in Ms. Parker, and our residents will come to see this very shortly.
Well, Mayor, thank you so much for those kind words and remarks. And your constituents should feel blessed to have you as their leader and have you as their mayor. I've seen your passion up close and personal. I've seen you working hard from the time that you've been elected up until now. And I know that you'll continue to do an amazing job leading the residents of University Park.
Thank you very much, Ms. Parker. Jeff, let's rock and roll, man. Let's go.
Thank you, Mayor. So Bonita, thank you again for being with us. But Bonita, there's some very important information that needs to be shared with the residents of the Village of University Park. And one of the things, we're coming out of our sweltering summer that we've had and the pandemic where people have been at home, working from home more than usual. I mean, there's a lot of high bills, and now we're headed into the heating season. What can residents do to lower their monthly electric bills and still stay comfortable?
Yeah, so I'm glad you asked that question. One of the things that I try to encourage our residents to do is to definitely take advantage of all of the energy efficiency programs that we have. First and foremost, everyone should strive towards getting an energy assessment sooner rather than later. With that energy assessment, we will send an agent to your home. They'll complete an assessment. They'll provide you with a list of things that you can do, whether it be insulation, caulking, sealing doors, what have you. They'll provide you with that cadre, and then you have the opportunity to work with whomever you choose to implement some of those things. And as a thank you for allowing us to come in and show you how you can better prepare your home for energy reduction, we will leave you with some gifts. We will change out all of your common area lights with LED lighting. We will cover your hot water pipes. A lot of people don't understand the interplay between hot water and electricity. Well, it takes electricity to heat that water up. So we're going to cover up your hot water pipes. We're going to provide you with energy efficient aeration for your shower as well as your kitchen. And we will provide you with a free programmable thermostat. All of that we're going to do for free for you, allowing us to come in and assess your home and provide you with tools that can make you more energy efficient. There are also some other real practical things that we can do as customers. And let me park here for a moment and tell you that from the time I started working at ComEd, through maybe the first couple of years, as I started learning about these programs that I just didn't know a utility company offered, as I learned about these programs and began to implement them, I literally cut my electricity bill in half. So you want to take advantage of the assessments. You want to take your time, but at some point, swap out all the lights in your house with LEDs. We give instant discounts right at the big box stores, whether it be Lowe's, Home Depot, Menards, etc. We discount them in advance so that they are more affordable. But what I did was I just got a couple every time I went to Home Depot, and after 6 months or a year, my home was swapped over to LED. LED lights make a big difference. Using sensors in high traffic areas makes a big difference. The way you even open and close your blinds and curtains makes a big difference. In the wintertime, let all that natural sunlight in because it's going to warm your place up. In the summer, you want to kind of block that sun because the sun heats the room up, which causes you to burn more air condition or central air unit or even a fan to try to cool it off. And speaking of fans, last point, because this is a topic I'm passionate about, so I'll go if you let me, but I'm gonna hit one more point.
Oh, good. I like it.
Okay, great. The direction even that you run your ceiling fans. In the summer, you want to run your ceiling fan in a direction that sucks air out of the room. In the winter, you want to run it in a direction that blows the air down into the room because heat rises. You want to get that heat off the ceiling and into the room. And the best way to tell which way your fan is operating is to put a sheet of paper in your hand, get pretty close to the fan. If the paper kind of sucks up and then falls down, you know it's sucking air out of the room. If it just goes straight down out of your hand, you know it's blowing down from the ceiling. The other thing you want to do, make sure that all of your appliances, first and foremost, if you can, and as your budget allows you to, you want to get as many energy efficient appliances as possible. And ComEd does offer rebates. If you decide you need a new refrigerator, washer, dryer, all those household appliances, we offer rebates, and the process is really quick and easy. I've taken advantage of it myself. So you want to get energy efficient appliances, but with the appliances that you do have, rather they be energy efficient or not, you want to keep the you want to make sure that you dust around the area that allow air to freely flow. What draws energy is when stuff has to work hard. So anything that's stopping your appliances from working at their normal course is going to drain more energy. So those are just some of the tidbits. Oh, one last thing. If you do have an air conditioning unit, I know we're going into the fall. The last thing we want to think about is air conditioning units, but this is a good time probably to move forward and be in good position for next year. If you have a central air conditioning unit and you sign up for the air conditioning recycling program, essentially that allows ComEd to put a device on your air conditioning, on your central air unit. And it gives us the option to turn it off, cycle it down for 1 hour increments on really, really high energy usage days. Now, I've had mine on my central air unit for probably about 8-9 years. They've only done it once. They've only cycled it down once. It will never be for more than an hour. It's never a weekend, and we will always call you. But in exchange for giving us that option, you get a $10 credit 4 months out of the summer. So that's $40 worth of credits I've been getting every year.
And savings, absolutely.
Yeah.
Good.
Wow, I didn't know that about the fan. That's very interesting information.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Just a small thing that we can easily do that makes a difference. The fan, I think the fan was a big aha for me, as well as the blinds. I just, because I just usually like natural light, but in the summer, I gotta not really use that much natural light.
So if people go forward with these initiatives, does ComEd offer any discounts or incentives for implementing these things to lower the actual energy bills, electricity in particular?
There are a plethora of various programs out there that are offered that ComEd contributes to, but CETA would be the best organization to process your paperwork through. And both ComEd and NICOR, we provide behind the scenes, we do provide funding to assist with retrofitting folks' homes. So yes, once ComEd comes out and does the energy assessment, specifically it is, of course, with me saying CETA, it is driven by household income, number of people in the house, all that. There are some qualifications in that regard that would have to be met, but assuming that all of that checks out, yes, there are a lot of various programs. They change throughout the course of the year. I'm not positive which one is running right now, but I would say the sooner you engage with a CETA, the better, and the quicker, the better you can plan, and the quicker you can have some of that stuff implemented. But the precursor should be having us come out and do the assessment.
So what about, sitting the assessment and doing the practical things to reduce your energy bill? We're coming out of a peak summer where air conditioners have been blowing for many months due to the heat. If people have high bills, utility bills, particularly electric, are are there any financial plans or anything that people can do from the pandemic, incentives, any programs that they can take advantage of?
I am so happy that you asked this because yes, there are a broad variety of things that folks can do. We do right now still have some funding in our residential special hardship. This is a grant, not a repayment plan, but a grant that we give up to $500 towards past due bills. So if you have a bill that's, let's say, $800 and $5 of that is past due, if you qualify for the residential financial hardship, we're going to take care of that 500 and leave you with the balance of 300 to pay. So definitely take advantage of that sooner rather than later. That is first come, first serve. And as funding is available, once the funding is depleted, then you'll have to wait and see what other programs we come out with. So we have the residential financial hardship. We have the nonprofit special hardship as well, which is essentially the same thing I just shared about the residential special hardship, except it's designed for nonprofits that might be struggling, and they're eligible for up to $2,000 towards their past due bill. And then last but certainly not least, because I am a veteran, is our CHAMP program. And that's a program designed to help veterans, whether you're active or in a reserves or a veteran. If you've served in the armed forces, you're eligible to receive some grant money towards your past due bill. That's the part I want to be clear about. Past due. You can't just call and say, hey, I saw this lady talking to my man. She said I could get $2,000. No, it's towards your past due light bill.
Past due bills.
Past due bills. We will apply it towards that. In addition to that, more funding has been added to LIHEAP and PIP. People are not, specifically with PIP, people are not taking full advantage of PIP. PIP is the acronym for Percentage of Income Payment Plan. And what that does, it's similar, it's the utility version of like maybe a Section 8. We look at your income, and based on your income, we will come up with a fixed amount for a customer to pay. And when I say we, I mean the government, because it is a government program that ComEd helps to promote and support. But PIP is a really good program that right now is severely underutilized. And of course, more people are familiar with LIHEAP, the low income heating assistance and energy assistance program. But the cool thing about both of these, with the recent passage of legislation, they have relaxed the income requirements, so they're way broader. So if you're middle income and you think, oh, I probably don't qualify for that, that's for the other people. If you're middle income, you may qualify. So please call your local CETA agency, at least be guilty of applying for LIHEAP and PIP, and let them turn you down. But you'll see, because we have relaxed the income eligibility, that more people will be eligible to take advantage of these programs. And then last but certainly not least, the other opportunities folks have is we do allow for payment arrangements. So let's say you are behind from cooling off your house all summer and you're like, oh my goodness, I'm never going to get rid of this bill. Instead of looking at a $600 bill, trying to figure out how you're going to pay that today, you can put a deposit on that, and we can spread it out over 4 months, 5 months, 6 months, whatever works out to be comfortable for the customer. We're willing to do that. And you can always ask for due date extensions. That's another new feature that we've recently added. So those are some of the things that we're doing to help our customers.
And overall, ComEd is simply, I mean, with those measures, ComEd is looking to work with people. They're not trying to.
Oh my goodness, we'd much rather. Absolutely. And the other thing, I'm glad you said that. The other thing that is so important, please hear me, our wonderful customers. Please call us and work something out before your power is ever interrupted. Once it's interrupted, it's so much more difficult. But if you call us beforehand, we're always willing to work something out. We're going to figure out a way to make it where you can keep your utility on and active. But please call us in advance. Don't be afraid. Don't feel embarrassed. We all have dry patches. We all have had times where we needed just, a little help. So please call us and we'll work something out for you.
Awesome.
Great. So, Bonita, thank you very much for that. I mean, you always have great perspective. And one of the things that's really, people have been seeing a lot of commercials, and there's a lot of excitement around with the new energy bills that's been passed in the state is solar power. Can you talk a little bit about solar power as it relates to ComEd?
Absolutely. So ComEd, we don't, of course, install solar. We don't do any of that. What we do is we try to encourage participation in renewable energy through some of the various programs that we offer. So you would still have to have your own individual vendor that you work with to retrofit your home. One of the things that I feel passionate about that I've been really heavily promoting, and Mayor, at some point I'd love to come and sit down and talk to you as we get further down the path with rolling these out. But I like to encourage our community to take advantage of what's called community solar. And what community solar does is it allows a big solar footprint to be built in a regional area or a geographic area, and then people can take out subscriptions. And depending upon what kind of subscription you take out, whatever your prorated and interest is in that particular solar, community solar, then that's how much of a credit you'll get on your monthly bill. So you'll hear more about that specifically as we go into the new year, because ComEd is very committed to renewable energy. Right now, I want to say we're somewhere around 93% clean. We want to get to one in the state of Illinois. We want to get to 100%. And so you'll hear more and more about that and some of the programs that are associated with making it really manageable for many of our communities to take better advantage of the community solar. But
So
if you do want to,
I have a question, Bonita.
sure.
How does a person decide on who's good or who's reputable to install solar panels in their homes?
So we don't, well, okay, so two things. One, and I'll be happy to share the link so that we can make sure all of our customers have it. There is a link that we have on ComEd.com that will even give you an opportunity to put in your address, and we can tell you or give you projections on how much you might potentially save if you do decide to individually retrofit your home with solar panels. So what it does is it looks at your rooftop. It makes a determination based on, you know, how well the sun shines based on the position of your rooftop and the size of your home. It gives you some pretty good projections on how much you can save. We do have a listing of some of the vendors that we've worked with on our website as well. But two places that's always really safe to vet out anything in the utility industry insofar as vendors are concerned would be certainly looking at the Attorney General's website, the ICC. They both tend to keep a pretty good log of any of the, whether it be a retail energy supplier, a solar installer, or any other entity out there that deals with utilities. They do a pretty good job keeping a listing of those particular companies, and they do a pretty good job with giving them ratings too, or at least disclosing if other customers have been filing complaints and things of that nature. So that's one of the better ways to really measure that. But again, on our website that I'll be happy to share, if you go to ComEd.com and put solar in the search engine, you'll get it as well. But I'd be happy to share the direct link to allow people to engage with our solar programs as well. Mm-hmm.
Great. Thank you, Bonita, for sharing that. You know, we talked earlier about the summer months in terms of the heat, but during the winter, bad weather happens in the winter as well. Sometimes with ice storms and heavy snowstorms that can affect and make, you know, the power go out in a particular area. What should be the first few things residents do in a situation of a community-wide power outage?
The very first thing is to call ComEd.com to make sure that we're aware. But in addition to call 1-800-EDISON-1 to make sure we're aware. And that's 1-800-334-7661. But in addition to that, customers have the opportunity to get on our two-way texting program. If
Okay.
you sign up for our two-way texting program, you can text us when you're out. And if we know before you text us that you're out, guess what we're going to do? We're going to text you and tell you that you're out. But the beauty about the two-way texting is we give routine updates. Thank you for letting me know that you're out. Okay, maybe 20 minutes later, crew is en route. Maybe 5 minutes later, crew has arrived, found a, downed power wire due to it icing over, whatever the case may be. And so you'll have that ongoing dialogue with us if you decide to sign up for two-way texting. The other way that customers can engage with us through their mobile apps or iPads is to certainly go to our outage map on ComEd.com. If you go to ComEd.com/outage, that'll take you to our outage map. So the biggest key is making sure that we are aware. We are consistently upgrading our technology, and a lot of oftentimes we do know when customers are out. But until we get to the point where we know for sure everything on our mesh network is working 100%, it's still always good for customers to make us aware. Once we tell you the duration of that outage or what the estimated restoration time would be, or ERT, if we say it's going to be an extended period of time, then you need to make some decisions based on your household complexion. If you've got a senior citizen who maybe needs the oxygen machine, and if we say this is a multi-day storm, then you want to make a decision to take that senior citizen out of the home. But if we say, hey, a car hit one of our poles, we should have it back up and running hour and a half. But calling us, two-way texting us, or going to the outage map is always a great way to engage and get regular updates with us.
Good.
Good stuff, Bonita.
Yeah, that is very important information because, even though we're heading into the winter, even though ComEd, and, I used actually two-way texting and it absolutely worked. It really does. I mean, ComEd is really good in terms of giving it's almost real-time information in terms of what is real-time information in terms of their process for restoring the power. What is the difference between ComEd and Exelon?
$1 million question. We are the child of Exelon. Exelon is our parent company, and they own a broad variety of utilities. One of the other things that you may have heard in the news recently even is that they've even spun off all of the generation portions of the various utilities they own, and we've created a standalone company that deals exclusively with generation now. But yeah, Exelon, we're the only one in the Midwest. Most of the companies that Exelon owns are all on that East Coast corridor.
Okay.
So yeah, that's the difference. Exelon is our parent, we're the child.
Well, the most important thing, though, to a lot of people is the grid. There's been a lot talked about in terms of the grid's resiliency and energy going back to the grid. What is the grid, and why should residents really care about it? And also, who owns it? Does Exelon own it or ComEd own our grid?
That is a very good question. So let me start by saying in 2011, the state legislature passed a piece of legislation called the Energy Infrastructure Modernization Act, also known as EMA. What EMA has allowed us to do over the past 10 years was make a tremendous amount of upgrades to our grid. Our grid basically is a loose way of describing all the different mechanics that goes into delivering power to each and every one of our homes, places of business, worship, etc. ComEd, here's another fun fact that a lot of people don't know. ComEd, while we're seen as, and we are a utility company, we make our bread and butter on delivery. So we're really a delivery company. We don't generate energy. We don't create it. All we do is we use those wires, those transformers, those poles. We use all the equipment that you see out in the field to get energy from the source to the customers. So with that being said, over the past 10 years, we have upgraded wires, poles, manholes, substations. In some areas where we saw that there was no way around some of the density of trees, we've gone from overhead to underground. In other areas, we've put this more robust cable to make them more resilient. And we've put what's known as distribution automation across a lot of our lines, which essentially is a tool that will tell us not only there is an outage, but it will tell us within a few hundred feet where that outage took place. And the cool thing about distribution automation is that it allows us to basically sectionalize that circuit, backfeed everyone else on that circuit to other circuits until we're able to get the area that was actually affected restored.
Oh, wow.
So I know customers had to have seen over the past few years that they're having fewer outages because we've upgraded so much on our grid. B, when they do have outages, the duration is a lot shorter because before, let's look at a feeder as an example. So a feeder typically holds about 1,000 residential customers, give or take. Historically, if a tree fell down in Mayor Roudez's backyard, the other 999 people on that feeder would have all lost power. Yeah. Now we can sectionalize it where maybe only 100 people lose power and the other 900 get rerouted. But the other cool thing about being able to sectionalize and know exactly where to go is it speeds up our restoration time. So now instead of that lineman walking down a feeder that carries 1,000 houses on it, he can say, oh, nope, it's on this block and it looks like it's in that backyard.
Oh, wow.
So the durations are shorter. We are able to identify it quicker. We're able to reroute people. And so, yeah, all those various components that are used to bring the utility or the commodity of energy to our homes and places of business, that's considered the grid.
That is exciting. That's more about the grid than I knew. I mean, that's really great technology that you all have deployed in terms of to provide a minimum downtime.
Yep, minimum downtime. And of course, the other thing that was key with the EMA legislation was the deployment of our smart meters. So now you don't have to wait for a truck to roll to get your power on, to get your power off, and I will tell everyone, if you're moving and you call us and you say, I'm moving, I'm leaving my place Friday at 12 and I'm moving to my new address, 12:01, them lights are off. I've heard about stories where people have called back and said, wait, I wasn't done moving. I had another box, blah, blah, blah. Well, you should have said 1 o'clock instead of 12. So make sure you build in.
Digital.
That's right. Build in a cushion from now on. When you call us and you tell us you need your power disconnected, make sure you build in a cushion, because if you say 12 o'clock, lights are off at 12.
Awesome.
Thanks, Bonita. As we wrap up, Bonita, a couple more questions. And I know that one of the things that that ComEd does take very serious is safety, and so does the mayor. In his previous shows, he's talked about safety from a number of standpoints. And what are the safety measures residents should know about from doing work around their homes and digging or getting ready to move a tree and having the root or the trunk ground, or even a down line? What should people know as it relates to safety and electricity? One, in terms of protecting the grid and protecting, power for your community. And then one from safety of your own self.
Yep. So there's one other little subset I want to put under that. I'm gonna answer your direct question, and please don't let me forget to talk about scams, because during the holiday season, the scams even go up. That's another form of protection from my judgment. So some of the things, definitely, please don't do any digging without making a phone call. You just don't want to dig without calling Julie to make sure that the utilities are appropriately marked, not only from an electrical perspective, but from a gas perspective, from a water perspective for you all. And all three of those agents, gas, water, and electricity, are dangerous. So you definitely don't want to, dig and find yourself in harm's way. So that's one thing. If there is a down power line If you're in the car and the power line falls on the car, don't touch anything because your body becomes a conduit. Electricity will try to travel through it. The only thing you need to do is try to call 911 as quickly as possible. Use the term entrapment because that way our folks know that this drop everything you're doing, run, de-energize that line, make sure the folks are safe. So any kind of down power lines, you always want to call and report those to make sure that we are aware of them. But if there's a case of entrapment, that's a whole nother level of priority. The other thing, if you do lose power, and let's say your backup, your pump fails and you start getting water in the basement, please don't go in that basement until you know for sure all the power is out in your house. Because as you touch that floor with water and potentially outlets that still have live electricity running through them, that would not be a good thing. So avoid that. Call us if you have down power lines. Avoid going into a water-filled basement if you still have power in your home. If you do lose power, here's another quick little, not necessarily safety, but a tidbit. The longer you keep your refrigerator closed, the longer your food is going to last. If you go in and out that refrigerator when there's a power outage, you're going to end up having to throw some stuff away if it doesn't get restored fast. But from a safety perspective, scams, let me hit on that.
Yes.
I even get the calls. Hello, this is your utility and you're paying too much for your bills. And in the beginning, it used to annoy me so much and I would report it to corporate security every time it happened, but it happens so often now that I'm just like, oh, geez. Long story short, ComEd is never going to call you and say, I need you to make a payment right now with, your gift card, with Bitcoin, with none of that. We're not going to call and demand some kind of payment from you. We're not going to call and demand your account information because guess what? We got your account number. Why am I calling you asking you for your account if I already have your account? So when someone is asking for your account number, red flag. When someone is telling you to go to Walgreens and get a gift card and pay your bill or else we're going to cut you off at 2 o'clock, red flag. The best thing to do is always hang up, call us back and say, I just want to double check on my account. Am I good? I can't tell you at least once a week, somebody that I personally know is getting scammed and they think it's us calling them. And I'm like, no. So those are some of the things that you can do to be safe. Scammers, especially if we promote competitive rates with regards to the commodity of energy. Because again, we're the delivery company and then there's the commodity energy. So we're fine with retail energy suppliers calling you all, with you all entertaining them. Heck, I've been with other energy supply companies at different points. But here's the thing that I will tell you from a consumer perspective, keep an eye on those rates. Sometimes some places will get you in there with a decent rate and you blink your eye and you're like, whoa, why did my bill go up so high? Keep an eye on those rates, but feel free to take advantage of whatever retail energy supplier is out there. But again, the ICC has kind of like what I call a Kelly Blue Book. Yeah, they've got the list of retail energy suppliers and the ratings that they have.
Wow, Bonita, it's been just an absolute pleasure learning from you about all of the going-ons with ComEd and some of the new technology upgrades that they've made as it relates to the grid and the light bulbs and how to actually reduce your energy bill. And so it's been very great and very informative. I think that the residents of University Park will appreciate the information. Mayor, I'll let you close out this portion of your show, the Mayor's Corner, with Bonita.
Well, I'm just going to say thank you. I've learned a lot myself. I felt like a student in class because you had my utmost attention, because those things are very, very important to know. And any of those numbers that you gave, please just make sure that we have them so we can run them across the screen so the residents can have access to them. Those additional links would be very helpful as well. And I don't know what else to say. I think this is a very good way to start off the fall season, very informative. And this is some way that people can save money, get better usage of their power, going to LED light bulbs, talking about the solar panels on your homes. It's a fantastic show. I thank you so much, Bonita.
It's absolutely my pleasure. Thank you all so much for having me. And Mayor, if it's okay with you, there's one other link that I would also like to provide for you to run across the bottom of your screen, because this is another area I'm passionate about. Through the end of November is when we have the application window open for any college students that would like to intern with us.
Okay.
We hire typically a couple hundred interns every summer. It'd be nice to see a few more from the Southland
Okay.
continue to apply and work with us.
Oh,
Beautiful.
absolutely. That's something I'll definitely promote. Oh
Thank
boy,
you.
that's awesome.
Yeah,
That's
that is
awesome.
awesome.
Okay.
And I
Thank
just
you,
want to
Bonita.
to everyone is that Bonita is not just a representative from ComEd, she's also a vested community partner. ComEd always participates in our Christmas events, our summer events, our Halloween, and all these things that the Mayor's Office of Special Events does for free for our residents. ComEd is one of our supporters and our vendors, and we greatly appreciate you for all that you do in that arena as well.
It is my pleasure. As I've always said, yes, this is a job. It helps me to pay my bills, but I see what I do as helping my family. All of you all are my family.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, you serve with passion, and that's the difference.
Absolutely. And on that note, Mayor, we thank you, Bonita, and all the
My
best to
pleasure.
you. And hopefully our paths will cross again soon.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Talk to you later,
All
Bonita.
right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
All right, we're going to continue with the Mayor's Corner, and we'll be right back. Mayor, it was great talking to Bonita Parker from ComEd. What a wealth of information, and just real deep care about the Southland region and the village of University Park. So thank you for having her, Mayor. I'm sure that your residents got a lot of good information from that.
Oh, they will receive a lot of information, and that's a trusted, reliable source. Absolutely.
So, Mayor, we have a lot to update the residents of the village of University Park on. So let's get going with giving them an update on some of the things that the village has been involved in. One is the year two of your town hall meeting. You had your second town hall meeting this year, and I understand that it was really a spectacular event. And I'd like for you to share, what took place.
Well, our town hall meeting was a pretty good town hall meeting. It was a very hot day. No one can anticipate on how hot the weather would be, but it shows our transparency and it tries to just extend ourselves out to our residents. As a former trustee who sat on the board from 2005 to 2017, I've never seen as much community outreach and transparency as I'm trying to give our residents as we move forward now. We've done town hall meetings annually twice a year, as we said I would do. We've done community tours. We've done community workshops. We consistently provide a community newsletter. So we're being as transparent as possible. I've been here for, like I said previously, before I was fortunate enough to win the election in 2019. Those things never have taken place. As a seasoned 12-year former trustee, I'm proud to say that we've done a lot of things outside of the box, which sometimes people it's kind of hard sometimes. Everybody asks for change, but I'm an agent of change, and I believe in futuristic things and thinking outside of the box. So we've done community tours starting in our industrial park, riding all through our industrial park, talking about the businesses in our industrial park. And then we eased into the east and we came into our community block by block by block. Those things have never done. We've never done before. Then we had town hall, or not town hall meetings, just I would say community meetings where residents were able to come in at a round table event, and we played something like musical chairs, fill out these forms. These are some of the things that we would like to see happen in our community. So we took community surveys. We've done a whole lot of things different to show our transparency. We've caught so those are some of the things that we've done, Jeff. Right. Those are some of the things we discussed in our town hall meetings. Right. And I want the people to know it's very, very hard at sometimes to please everybody all the time, but I'm not in this position to be like, I'm here to do an efficient job and reach out to the residents. It's just like the rain. Whether you like it or not, everyone's going to benefit. one way or another. So whether you're a supporter or a non-supporter, you're going to benefit from those things. Sometimes we have to make a sacrifice instead of just doing something quick to say we're doing something. I'd rather make the sacrifice for the long run of things. So that's an effort what we're doing as far as our town hall meetings, Jeff. Thank you for asking so much.
Right, and you plan on doing it again next year, I'm sure. So the residents should expect those to take place on a biannual basis. Is that correct? Or are you going to do it annually?
Well, we're going to continue our consistent path. We're going to try to do it twice a year.
Okay.
You know, this COVID situation is something that, as much as I've been to training and conferences and learning all about government and legislation, there's never been a training course on how to deal with a pandemic that the world has never seen before.
Right.
There's never been a training course on how to deal with lead in your water crisis. And just to go back, just to rewind a little bit, I was elected in April. I was sworn in May 14th. But before the first 30 days, if I'm not mistaken, I think it was June 20th, that I got a knock on my door by representatives of Aqua Water stating that there was lead in the water. We're doing the very, very best that we can to still deal with that scenario.
Good.
And it's one of the most complex cases in the state of Illinois. But just to let the residents know, it isn't over. The fight is ongoing, and it's very, very a tough battle in our court. So we've done so much in a short amount of time through some of the worst catastrophic things that could ever happen to a community. Right. Water crisis. We even had a person that ran across the railroad tracks during those first 30 days. Unfortunately, they didn't survive. Then we get hit with the pandemic. Then there's civil unrest with the George Floyd thing. We were able to still stay focused and get so much done. And I'm proud to say thank you to my board of trustees who have been very supportive and aggressive in making these things happen.
Good. Let's talk about one other area of a bigger accomplishment, and that is the finances of the village. And I understand that that your finances or your audits are caught up through 2019.
That is correct, Jeff. Again, when I took office, those are one of the other underlying things that was going on. We have caught up with, we have performed 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20 is in a draft form, which I anticipate that to be passed by the board in sometime in November. And if God's will, we'll be able to complete it and close out the year with a clean slate going into our next season. So we've done just about 6 years of audits in 2 years and 6 months or something of that nature. We've done a fantastic job on catching up, because that's like the heartbeat to a person. That's right. The heartbeat of our community. If our audits aren't up to date, how can we dare ask to get anything else done?
Right. So doesn't it stop you if you have not been audited? You cannot qualify for grants, right?
We can't qualify for grants. We were kicked out of the motor fuel tax fund, which we're now been reinstated. We've lost so much opportunities, but now it's not a time to look in the rearview mirror, because that's not the focus. The front focus is when we're driving, we're going to look at that big old windshield and look on how our future is going to go and see which direction we're moving forward in.
And that's not the point of looking backwards. The point is just to make sure that people know when you talk about transparency, when you're talking about making a commitment to do something, that you made a commitment that the finances were going to be caught, the audits were going to be caught up. It's important for people to talk about in the village that your audits are caught up and will be caught up through 2020 by the end of this year. And so next year for 2021, you're going to be current.
Absolutely. Yeah, you're correct. You're very correct, Jeff. Absolutely.
That's
I'm proud to say that. Yes, it's been
a big deal.
Yeah, it's a focus and a concentration, because we know how important that our finances are. My goal is with those finances, Jeff, to stir up so much. Well, I'll get to it later on down the line.
Right. So Mayor, good news. Clap, clap. Very much on that. I'm going to stop and give you a round of applause on that. Because I know how important those audits are to a community. So good job to you and your trustees for making that happen. I also understand that you have had success in the industrial park with the attraction of not only Amazon, but I'll let you go ahead and give the good news to your residents that I think somebody from Chicago is coming out here to set up camp.
Okay, I'll start. I'll start with our latest and work our way all the way back. I'm proud to announce that Century Steel, otherwise known as Ryerson Steel, which has been 100 years in the city of Chicago, has decided to close their doors on the southwest side of Chicago, and they are moving to University Park. They will be moving to a 850,000 square foot building directly across the street from Amazon. Lori Lightfoot made a comment. I don't want to quote what she said, but she's very sad in losing Ryerson Steel because that was an anchor in Chicago, as I stated, 100 years. So, and that's
so sad.
yeah, that's going to bring 250, say 200 to 250 additional good paying jobs in our community. And most of our residents are happy about that. As a mayor, most mayors are always trying to stir their local economy, and job creation is one of them. I'm not lacking anything in that area right now. And most residents can see if they go west to I-57, there's a huge parcel of land. It was 110 acres of just forestry and woods that has sat dormant since I've lived in University Park since 1990. So now it's all cleared out. It belongs to Carvana. Carvana is the nation's leading car dealer right now in touchless car delivery. And what that's going to bring to University Park, first of all, let's talk about what it is. It is their reconditioning facility, inspection center, and sales center based here in University Park. That is the state of Illinois' largest Carvana facility in the state of Illinois. And what that also does, it brings 650 to 700 blue collar jobs. It brings us a source of retail sales tax that this village has never ever seen before in its history. Currently, I think the village is 52, 53 years old. Our largest retail sales tax outside of our gas stations has been $10,000 to $15,000 annually. The projections for Carvana, once those doors open and 1 year passes, will be 1.3 million in sales tax revenue, 2.4 million in real estate taxes, and not including the 650 to 700 blue collar jobs. Why that's so important to us is that now there's a workforce being created here in University Park. Let me rewind 1 second back. Not just with Carvana, the city council has just approved, as you come off of I-57, there's going to be a new travel center, a quick trip travel center, which will have a Shell gas station, Jimmy John's, Dunkin' Donut, and other little small retail stores right off of I-57. And for those who are listening and know the region, there's one similar on the Bishop Ford on 394 and Salt Trail. What a great source of revenue that's going to be for the community. There's a new Dollar General that's going to be opening up on University right off to the locally in town off of Black Hawk and University Parkway, which will be set recessed. A new Dollar General will be opening up, breaking ground in spring of 2020. The Quick Trip will be a groundbreaking in spring of 2022. I'm sorry. And also the groundbreaking of the Ryerson Steel, Century Steel in 2022. And there also should be a ribbon cutting for the grand opening of Carvana here in University Park. So that's just a few of the things that we do to stir the local economy. And what's important about that, Jeff, is that once you stir that local economy, now you've created a workforce. Well, now there's a reason for restaurants to look at the village of University Park, because now there's going to be a massive amount of people in this corridor 24/7, 365 a day. Yeah. And what that means to me, that means the sales tax are going to be going, the registers are going to be ringing, and it's going to create an opportunity for restaurants and sit-down restaurants, fast food restaurants, because everyone who works in these facilities either gets a lunch break, they're going to get breakfast, or they're going to get dinner. And that's going to lead to, guess what? A new housing market, because why travel all the way from Chicago to come to your place of employment when there's an opportunity for a new housing stock here in University Park, that now we can live closer to our jobs, and even some of our residents who travel all the way downtown. Can you imagine a resident from University Park traveling from University Park to Schaumburg and to Rosemont, making the same wages that they can make here in their community? And what's important is that more time, quality time with your family, less expenses going out to get to work, and
Yeah.
more money in your household budget. And we
go.
call that disposable income. Not to mention, Jeff, that we have captured $34.9 million for metro renovation. Phase one engineering has started October 1st of 2021. That means we're already in effect now. And with this metro station renovation, that means that there's going to be potential of coffee shops and restaurants, and we're working hand in hand with the University Governor State, which is our partner here in our community, which is basically another anchor where you can get educational benefit. But now $34.9 million going into this metro station renovation. So can you imagine Starbucks or Seattle's Best and our restaurants, our metro station in the future is going to be very, very, maybe one of the best in the state. So I'm proud to say that as well. So much going on, man. You get me talking about that stuff. It's just like a preacher talking about his favorite sermon, because that's what's happening. But that's the small sacrifice that we have to make in order to get where we need to go. Because what I would like to do, I would like to sign that check, Mayor Joseph B. Roudez, going back to our residents and saying, this is your rebate back for your real estate taxes, because we've created such an incubator of revenue coming in that we can ease the burden on our taxpayers. Not just to mention, if you look at your tax bill, to this day, we're still the lowest one on that tax bill. So you're going to get your bang for your buck. You know, there's a process to it, but it's working. If they just, that people have to be a little patient and understanding. My door is always open. I've never told a resident that they can't sit down and talk with me. So anyone who wants to know about what's going on, don't hear it from the streets, don't hear it from the rumors. Come talk to the mayor. I'm an honest man, God-fearing man. I'm going to tell you exactly what's going on is to the best of my ability. So I'm proud to say we are raising all kinds of good things again through a water crisis, through a COVID-19, through the vaccinations and all the other things that's going on worldwide that's chaotic. My board of trustees, our city manager, and our staff and administration are focused on deliverables for our residents.
Good. So with all of those, that is fantastic, Mayor. I didn't want to stop you or say anything. That is just great news. That's why I like doing this, because I think that the diamond, you all are the diamond in the rough, and watching this diamond get polished is really a beautiful thing. And I can just see great things coming for the Village of University Park. And that's why I do this with you, because from the beginning, you've told people this is what I'm going to do. And every time we come back on the show, you give them the results of what has been done. And no one could, I don't think, can say that, oh, he said he was going to do this and he didn't do it. I don't live in a Village of University Park. I'm watching it happen. So I take my hat off to you and your trustees and your village manager for making this positive things happen in your village. Let's move on. So with all of those jobs, or at least the new businesses coming, what are you doing to make sure that people know from the standpoint of promoting job fairs and the jobs with Amazon and these potential new opportunities? What's going on with job fairs?
Well, we just recently had a job fair in August. We worked in collaboration with Will County. This is the first that we've ever done anything with Will County. There were 15 to 20 quality vendors there, and residents had an opportunity to fill out applications. You know, that's one thing that we're going to continuously work on, because right now, Jeff, I have access to probably 2,000 plus jobs. Employers are knocking on our door every day asking for a workforce. So that's a good problem to have. So we're working on different ways to get the messaging out. We don't want a resident to say, one of the worst things that I ever hear is that I didn't know, Mayor, I didn't know. So we're trying our best to look at every aspect on how to deliver the message, whether it's Facebook, whether it's Twitter, whether it's the mayor's corner, whether it's the village website, whether it's in the community newsletter. We must get the word out for the factual information that there are fantastic opportunities in University Park. And if you have any suggestions and any ideas on how to get it out there, please drop a dime in my ear, because we need it. We need all the help we can to get it out into every single household. Because anybody who wants to work and are qualified to work, then there's a job here close to home. Closer to home, more time with your kids, more time with your spouse, your significant other. Here you are, more money in your pocket that you don't have to exhaust by getting on that metro train early in the morning, you know? And coming back late at evening, you're tired and grumpy, and you don't really have the quality time that you need. So those are some of the things that our residents can actually look forward to.
Good. So excellent. There's a lot of great things going on from an economic development standpoint. So Mayor, you had, we talked about promises, and one of the things that you had said that you wanted to ensure that was going to be addressed was the situation with Cityscape. And why don't you provide an update on your progress in getting rid of this situation that has been a nemesis to the village of University Park?
Well, that's good, Jeff, that you asked that question, because today is the 21st of October, correct?
Yep.
This is a rescheduled committee of the whole meeting, and Cityscape is on the agenda tonight. There has been an order sent in. There's been a request from our legal counsel to Will County for permission for demolition. It has to go. It will go.
Okay.
It's an eyesore to the community, but what a fantastic opportunity once we get that place knocked down. I feel so bad for the residents who have sat there for 8+ years looking at a dilapidated city structure that's, first of all, an environmental hazard and a danger to any young person, not just a young person, to anybody. So that's a high priority to get that cityscape knocked down. So the order for demolition, the request has been made. We're going to talk about it later on tonight at 7 p.m. in our committee of the whole meeting, and we're going to proceed forward. I don't care. We're going to get that joker down. It's important to get it down. What a great piece of land, get it graded. And I would like to market it to the university for additional student athlete housing, because as a former athlete, and you know, when you're in college, athletes are kind of like the ones on the campus. And most athletes do not live in the normal dorms right now. Governor State doesn't have additional dormitories for student athletes, but there's an opportunity, if all goes well, that they could probably, hey, they're going to build in University Park. Let's put our student athletes there. The back road on Hickok takes you right into the main campus. So those are just some of the prospects that I'm looking at as we move forward in the community. And we're going to get that cityscape down, Jeff. We're going to have the cameras and everything rolling when we knock that joker down.
Good. I'll look forward to that. And hopefully in the first quarter of next year, we'll be able to give her update back to the residents on the Mayor's Corner that it's been achieved.
Look forward to it.
So Mayor, the Mayor's Office of Special Events has also been busy since the last time we did the Mayor's Corner. And there's been a lot of activity outside of the Black History and Women Leadership Awards. You want to talk about some of the things the great things that's taken place?
Well, listen, summer's over now, but we started our first car show in June of this year. We've had June, July, August, September. We've had 4 or 5 car shows every second Sunday of the month, and it has been a fantastic thing. We've probably had over 5,000 cars over the summer, customs, classics. And the good thing about it, these are mature adults. It's a very family-friendly oriented thing. So, you know, I would ask our residents to participate more next year and come on out. It's a great thing when you can walk down aisle by aisle in our town center and see some of the custom and classic cars. And, you know, somebody can say, wow, I remember in that car, I was back in high school in '74, and I remember all the good things that happened in those kind of cars, you know. It was really, really a family-friendly, fun event at no cost to the residents. Everything that the Mayor's Office of Special Events has done for this community is because it's, first of all, my wife serves as the chair, and those volunteers that serve with her are truly dedicated to filling in the gap, because right now our community does not have a park and recreation or a park district, but they are filling the void and the gap by creating an ambience of just some things to do in our community. They've had another group did a house party this year. There was a glow night ride where there were tons and tons of spiders and those little different slingshots out in the community. Fantastic. And the good thing about it, incident free, very respectful. We've had DJ Little John, which is our DJ from 106.3, who played all the old town music, classic songs. We've had food vendors all over. And, you know, it's been a very good summer, very good summer. You know, we tried to do one encore presentation. The in October, but the weather was not permitting. So we called it a day, and we've got so many calls now in the office. When does the car season start again? What are you going to do different this year? Can we look for it? Can we bring this out? Is your parking lot going to be big enough to hold what's going to be going on next year? So it's been very successful from the Mayor's Office of Special Events. As we speak here today, on the 21st of October, just around the corner, there's a Halloween celebration. There's going to be a trunk of treats, October the 30th, in our town center, where people will line up with their cars and decorate their cars and with it's socially distant safe again. But again, these events are all held outside, which is a very good thing to ensure the safety of everybody. Even then, we've had pop-up COVID vaccinations doing some of our events and everything. So back to the Halloween event, it starts from 4 to 6. The drive-in movie starts at 6:30. And the only way that we can do this together, we cannot be a divided community. These are village hosted events, and we ask our residents for their full participation. We need to get input from our residents. We're going to be trying to go into a park district or some form of park and recreational program in the upcoming years by referendum. So I'm asking our residents to participate with the village. Get to know your mayor, get to know your trustees, get to know your public officials. We're not a divide and conquer thing. This is one vision, one village, where we all come to the table and we can show them a little something different. So October 30th, starting at 4 p.m. to 6 p.m., the local residents can bring their kids up. Even if they want to participate, they can come up, park their car, have nice pre-wrapped treats in the trunk of their car, have their cars decorated, and they're going to have, if I'm not mistaken, there are going to be 3 categories of trophies going to be awarded: for the best decorated car, for the best costume, and I can't remember what the other one is, but they're going to be, some good things going on. And we've got our local vendors supporting. And so come on out October 30th. Don't be distracted by the hoopla. Come out and support your community. Support your community. Support the Mayor's Office of Special Events. They work extremely hard. Again, these are volunteers who passionately serve the residents of this community and the region. So that's one thing that's happening October the 30th. Then November 11th, there's going to be a Veterans Day celebration in our town hall, center. I don't know the exact times, but I would ask you to starts at 11 a.m.
Okay.
If you're a veteran, whether you served in the Coast Guard, National Guard, United States Army, Marine Corps, Air Force, any branch of the military, come out and let's honor our veterans in the style that they need to. We're going to do as much as we possibly can to acknowledge the veterans on such an important day in history. Then November 27th, there's going to be a tree lighting in the town center and a huge coat giveaway. So if you don't have a coat, or there's, some coats are worn and you might not have had an opportunity to do what you want to do, feel free to come out. There's a process, but come out on November 27th for our annual tree lighting and our coat giveaway. Those are some of the things as we close out the year that the Mayor's Office of Special Events is preparing for our residents.
Mayor, have you done enough?
Jeff, it's just the passion that I serve with, man.
Do you
don't lightly, but you know what? I'm so honored that I have the opportunity to serve as a mayor for this community. I mean, it's hard work, and to be honest with you, there's no such thing as a part-time public official, man. The people in this community live here 24/7, 365. If I didn't have the understanding and support of Linda Roudez, my wife, these things could not happen, because she knows that I serve with an unrelentless passion. And for those who know me and for those who don't know me, I would like you to get to know me. There's no such thing as doing something halfway. It's either all the way or none of the way. The community and the residents deserve that, and I'm willing to give my all to them. I'm not the person that's doing it. I'm just the tool that God chose to be here at this time to work through me, and I'm going to do my extreme best to please God first, and hopefully that our residents will be pleased.
And on that note, Mayor, putting God first in your work and your efforts, with all the great things that you've reported out on, if people don't want to see it, If they don't see it, they don't want to see it.
All
They
right.
don't want
All
to.
right.
So you keep doing what you're doing, reporting out from the mayor's corner, all the great things that's happening, and let the rest take care of itself. So I am so pleased for this show. This has been just great information. In particular, I just want to really just take my hat off on the audits, because I know that was something that you inherited as a mayor, and to be almost 100% current on that is a big deal. So I congratulate you and your team of trustees for making that happen. So on that note, Mayor, unless there's anything else that you want to share, I think we can close out this edition of the Mayor's Corner.
Well, Jeff, I think that's it. I'm going to prepare. I've got a South Suburban Mayors and Management meeting coming up before my council meeting. So I'm going to prepare for that. And I greatly appreciate it. I'm looking forward to new and exciting, innovative, creative shows that we can have more audience participation. So if there are any suggestions that our residents have of something that they might want to see, please just email me or go look on the village website. I'm glad to listen to you. I'm glad to take your ideas. I'm glad to enhance the quality of the program at any time. And I just look forward to it. I thank you so much for being such a wonderful host, man, and a person with your experience and your media experience. I thank you greatly. I appreciate Ms. Neva Jenkins, who's always there, who makes sure that there's a platform for us to do this on. So again, as we close, thank you, Jeff. Thank you, Neva.